Hey, I'm Duke on Twitch. If you want to support the channel and greensunzenith.com, you can find my Patreon, merch store, and singles store where you can buy singles through TCG Player or Card Hoarder in the video description. If you want to get in contact, you can also find all that info in the description below for things like donation deck lists or just wanting to reach out. Alright, let's get right into it.
Yo, hey team, welcome back to Dukes on Twitch. Back today with Abzan Maverick in potentially a new metagame. Well, most likely a new metagame. We'll see how that plays out. But here we have a Legacy without Troll of Khazad-dûm and Sowing Microspawn, which is pretty huge. Pretty big hits for both decks that play it, but not too sure on what the impact it'll have on Legacy as a format. Obviously, Sowing Microspawn was seeing play in Eldrazi and Cloudpost, and Troll was seeing play in mostly blue-black or mono-black. But without it, I'm not too sure how the deck changes, so I'm pretty keen to see how players do evolve the deck. Evolve blue-black, and potentially evolve Eldrazi. I'd love to see it still within the format, in a new shape, but we'll see over the next few weeks how that all comes about. This list takes some inspiration from Saito San, who's been playing around with a card called Sheltered by Ghosts. We've played with this a few times now, and I've been really impressed because it's just a really nice way to deal with troublesome permanents no matter what type they are. It also allows us to let me just turn down the music a little bit. Kind of adds to the ability of just making our creatures bigger threats. The lifelink is really nice, especially in creature matchups and with Sylvan Library. The Ward 2 means if we put it on just a bare effect against a deck that actually cares about, say, Thalia or Collector Ouphe, making it harder to deal with them is pretty great as well. So I've been, really enjoying it. I'm not too sure if it's a 4-of, but I just want to play as many as possible to see how well it does. Has some pretty cool takes with Renegade Rallier as well, as it is just another removal spell you can get back, which is pretty sweet. Scythecat Cub as well. I wanted to play a second, but I couldn't find space. I believe if I did, I would take out the extra shell. Let's just do that. Let's just see how the cup goes. So I don't mind playing an extra cub. But yeah, I think that Sheltered could just be kind of Swords to Plowshares 4 to 6 in a way. It is nice that it can also provide protection to the creature that you're putting it on, which is nice. I've been playing against a fair amount of Show and Tell, probably at least one each league. So to have an O-ring effect that we can put in is pretty sweet, especially when we most likely have a creature in play once they cast Show and Tell. Stock Up is a big card as well, making waves in Legacy, so I kind of like Thalia right now, especially if it is making them cost 4, and there are more blue decks in the format, then potentially Thalia, especially with Sheltered by Ghosts, could be pretty cool. The board is pretty heavy towards combo in 1 mana interaction and Deafening Silence and Thoughtseize, and then of course Leyline and Force of Vigor as 0 mana interaction. Gaddock Teague I still think is a really good Hate Bear. I did have it in the main deck, but I did just want an extra way to play a little bit more towards removal in the main deck and then Teague in the sideboard if needed. We do have Collector Ouphe as kind of the 2-drop bear if needed game 1, so we'll see how much it comes up that, maybe Teague is a main deck card and Ouphe is potentially in the board. Could be where the metagame goes. Dismember and Path, really like Dismember against the mono red decks. And also just turn 1 interaction against decks where you don't want to give them the basic. Things like Cradle Control, obviously giving them the mana is pretty bad. Mother of Runes against Death and Taxes. But yeah, Magus and Harbinger of the Seas or Harbinger of the Tides are probably the 2 big ones for Dismember. So see how that plays out. The mana's pretty normal. I did go up to 24 by adding in the Nurturing Peatland. I did have Ramen Up in here, but I didn't want to have both Ramen Up and Renegade Rallier, and I like the tempo of Rallier, so went with that there. But otherwise, pretty keen to get into a league with Mav. I'll just make sure this is the correct one. Nice. Gameplay. Play points. Nice. Yeah, I think just remember not relying on another piece is really nice. So obviously Solitude needing a white card, which I have played with, but it hasn't always come about the correct way, where I've had Solitude and just the stumble of trying to find a white card is just a little bit too much. So I have found that that Dismember is pretty nice. Pretty nice hand. We have some mana acceleration. Mana's all good. We have a lot of removal and also something for non-fair. So pretty happy to keep this. Hoping we're up against a creature matchup, especially with a double swords hand. And thankfully Once Upon a Time typically means creature based. You don't see something like lands being played. Well, I said that as my opponent played a Mox Diamond, discarded a Dark Depths, got an Urza Saga into play, and a Loam. Okay, so it is all guns blazing. I think here I like just going for the Forest in the deck to get our mana nice and stable, and then lead out on the Ignobled. It does mean if we draw Wasteland, we can't both Sheltered by Ghosts and Wasteland, but I think that should be okay. Thankfully, no exploration in play, which is pretty huge. So here we just want to go with Plains. Sheltered on this. Take out the Mox, which they didn't make a token in response. That's very interesting. I did not expect that. Yeah, I haven't seen Once Upon a Time in lands in a long time, especially now with the new 2-mana card. Is it Malevolent Rumble? That card seems really good in lands. And I would say probably takes the same slot as Once. I think here we'll see, yeah, Loam hitting Tabernacle, Saga, Depths. Yo, Panda, too kind. Hope you're doing well. How is the current scene at the coast? What's everyone playing? Is Highlander still doing pretty well as a weekly event? I do want to get Thalia down. I think just cutting them off the Loam is pretty nice. I don't even have to fetch thanks to the... Actually, I do. Sorry, I thought that was a Yavimaya for a second. Pretty happy to get a Bayou. Play a Thalia out. Attack with the Ignobled. Could wait a little bit in Green Suns for either Scavenging Ooze or Endurance, but I think you were pretty happy. Hey, Mistress. Yeah, I would love to get to Maverick in Modern. I definitely missed kind of the hype train of Green Suns being unbanned in Modern. But I think the tough part was that I didn't want to play Maverick in Modern without knowing what the Modern format was. And so I left it for a bit. And then I just never really got around to playing, unfortunately. But potentially, down the line, I would really like to. I'm pretty happy here paying for these two. Ooh. Sadly, we can't cast it because the Lush comes in tapped. There's not too much to get anyway because the map can just be sacked in response, so. Probably could have also. I'm going to keep the land on top because if I get rid of the Thalia and just pay for the Ignoble next turn, I can Green Suns for Ooze. So I think I'm pretty happy to see a land, especially if it's an extra green source. I should have also tapped in a way to keep up a white source, so I could keep up swords if I needed to during that turn. Could have also attacked with both because this is a 1/1, which would have gained me a life. So small things. Yeah, that's the thing. I think like D&T probably has a better time of doing well, or some sort of like blue, like white-black strategy in Modern, rather than like a Maverick deck. Because I don't think the tools are just there yet to really clamp down on the Modern format. But I definitely could be wrong. Like I would say, you know, Maverick's definitely on the out when it comes to competitive legacy. So I think it's kind of in the same area as Modern. Okay. So I'm gonna have a quick look. I think it is just going to be the Ooze. They're not a Punishing Fire version, so I don't have to worry about removal most likely. Sheltered by Ghosts has a lot of text. It nearly has 4 lines. So it says, like, target creature gets +1/+0, it gets lifelink, and then it gets ward, and then you also deal with something, which is pretty nuts. And it does stack, I believe, which is pretty sweet. Yeah, I think we just want to start off with attack with Thalia for 3. Because a token is only a 2/2. Land. 1, 2, 3. Pretty happy just to tap the fetch land. Keeping the fetch land's kind of nice in case we draw into like Ramanap, Renegade Rallier. Leaving up this mana also means we can hold up Sword. But to be fair, Endurance would have been pretty interesting, but I do like that I'm holding up Sword just in case of Dark Taps. But again, we are at 22, so I can take a hit as well. Okay, now that's really interesting. They obviously cracked map in response in case we got Collector Ouphe, which means they can't actually create a token here, which is pretty nice for us as well. So I'm still pretty happy to get the Ooze, I think. Yeah, I think getting like Liberator and hitting their Saga just isn't really a winning spot. I'd much rather get the Ooze. And I'm happy here because of how they're tapped to eat the Loam right now. Yeah, I could have left up. I did have the Thalia, so I don't think I could cast both swords, but there's definitely a line there where you fetch with the Windswept to go and get a Savannah and then hold up Lush and Savannah. Interesting. So I assume they're not playing a main deck Needle. Unless they drew it. All right. We will take out the Saga. Knight's a pretty great draw. I mean, I can even Lush. I can even Sheltered on the Mox here, make this a 1/1. Yeah, I could even... Yeah, even Shelter the Construct, to be fair. I think we'd both Shelter and Knight. Attack for 5, attack for 5. Okay, yeah, we just take out the construct. They can actually make the token. I should have thought about that. But we do have the swords, so... Is there a world where we can just take a hit and go to 2? How do we get got? I'm pretty happy to take the play the knight here and then just take a hit with the 2020. I don't really want to put them back to 30. I'm pretty happy to do that. I don't think that they can deal the 2 reach because even Shadow Spear is only 1, which would put me down to 1. Unless they've been hiding Punishing Fire this whole time. Loam is fine. One, two, 3, 6. I actually just have lethal. There is a world where they crop rotation for Paducah Bog, but they actually don't even have the mana for that, so I can just attack with everything. 1, 3, 6, 10. Yeah. Nice. Okay. I like the forces. I like the ley lines. I don't mind removing things like the Grist, Thalias, the Bowmasters. I'm not too sure if they're playing any creatures. Sometimes I usually cut down on swords, even for paths, because typically they're going for the basic forest early in games 2 and 3, and I don't want them gaining 20 off a removal spell, so pretty happy just to run this back. Collector Ouphe does something, Scavenging Ooze, Liberator, Endurance Knight. Yeah. There are definitely hands that Maverick can have that doesn't need a ley line, but I think this is just a little bit too fair. This has the advantage of hitting all our land drops, which is nice, but I think we can do a little bit better, especially on the draw. Pretty similar to the first hand. It does have interaction of Wasteland. It has mana acceleration with the first Green Suns and then potentially an Ooze with the other. It also has a bunch of fetch lands to get basics, which is kind of nice if I really want to. Pretty happy to keep this. And I think I'm just going to bottom the Peatland. I think the fetches playing around Wasteland are really nice. One thing to note against lands is that if you are going for basics early on, do know that you probably won't be able to then cast Leyline on curve if you do draw it. Loam. Okay. That's pretty good. So they go back Dark Depths. What are the chances that they don't have another mana source? Pretty low. I do just want to buy some time though. And I do want to play around crop rotation to some effect. Otawara. Interesting. Another saga. At least here now, if we draw into Force of Vigor, I'm not too unhappy. Sheltered. Okay. They are playing Rumble. Wow, so they're playing Rumble and once. Cool. Okay. Well, here I get to take out the... Oh, wow. Okay. Well, in that case... I think we're just playing land pass. Actually, land attack. Get a little bit got by our crop, but can't play around that too much. Tab's fine. That makes me think that they have a Yav, which they've probably returned. Wasteland. Okay. Interesting. Do I want to have a look? Okay, there's Yav. And there's Loam. We have access to basics, which is nice. So I kind of just want to draw into Knight of the Reliquary. Or Endurance. I'll play the Peatland. I don't want the Karakas going just yet. And if I fetch for a basic, I want to be able to... Yeah, so let's get rid of the Wooded Foothills for a forest. Keep the Windswept Heath for the plains. Interesting. Very aggressive. I mean, endurance into blue, into green mana, or green mana into endurance would be really nice. I'll still play the bird because it also allows me to turn on the sheltered, but I won't play a land here. Interesting, because playing a land keeps them on wastelanding me, which I don't really care about. I do care about a saga coming into play. So I think I will play the Bayou. With 3 mana, we can do everything as well. And if we really need to play the Karakas to Green Suns for 3, then the outcome of that Green Suns is most likely better. I don't really care about too many black things. I think at this stage, maybe Leyline is still online a little bit, but this is probably one situation where it's nice to have a exalted creature over birds. Have they hit their basic? I don't think they have. Okay. Well, that they can crack. Ooh. Incorrect tapping. Yeah, I think just a small error there. Pretty happy to pass back. They don't have any immediate pressure, which is pretty nice. Pretty cool build, but it might be pretty close to what Sprouts played in the showcase top 8. There's Explorations. That's a great hit with the Sheltered by Ghosts. They might even make the 2020 now to play around Wasteland, but at the same time you don't really care about Wasteland because you have Exploration and Loam online now. I think here we give up the bird. It's tricky because I kind of want to I want to have my cake and eat it, but I think here we're just going to play the endurance. Pop everything back. Lose the bird. Play the Karakas. Pass. And then honestly, we have a pretty fine threat in play. So here we want to use the forest. Okay. A free attack. You know they're new if they pay for the Tabernacle. So Marit Lage is indestructible. Tabernacle says destroy if you don't pay, which means you don't have to pay for the Marit Lage. But it's just something you're gonna do if you start with the deck. And lands is a pretty cool deck to start with. Oh, they actually play step. That is crazy. I didn't even play around like crop rotation into this, so pretty lucky there. Okay. They could also have Echoing Deeps, so I do have to care about this step to some degree. I don't think they play a second forest. Oh, they do. Wow, I got gut. Okay. A land would be great. Green Suns, I'm going to put in the graveyard. Don't really have the mana for that. They play boots, so they do get to attack here with a creature, which is pretty cool. It means if I want to shelter, I do have to deal with it. Wow, pretty aggressive with their mana. All right. I think I'm happy just paying with the forest. Land? No, but that's fine. Yeah, I like shelter hit the spear. Yeah. Ooh, is this Maze of Ith? I hope it isn't, because Maze of Ith on the it won't work because of the ward. Okay, it's gonna be Saga. That makes a lot more sense. Now it's a real race, because next turn they can make a token and equip. Yeah, I would say typically Maverick has more outs to the 2020 than the sort of grind plan and go wide strategy of this. I think here we just have to go for the boots. I could have also taken out a construct. That was probably more correct. Maybe I've been holding back. Yeah, I think going after the other construct. Or I got a 2. What do they have left? Mox Diamond if they have a land, but I think their last card's Loam. Maybe not. No, it is. Wow. All right, I've got to draw something pretty good here. Oh, I could also, if I needed to, Green Suns for a Dryad Arbor. Honestly, here, I don't mind play the Outland and then attack. Because if they block, we can kill one of these, and this obviously shrinks. And now we get to hold it back as a defender to block one and kill another. Wow, and they got to pay 3 for it. That only leaves them with 2 mana. Zero cards. Oh, they don't attack with anything. That means the Liberator flips, right? Wow. Okay. We're definitely paying for both of these. Doesn't really change anything. Yeah. Really good for us. Attack with both. Trigger, kill one. Block. Double block. Oh, no opponent. We'll play the Hierarch. They do have Stage as an out. They do have Crop Rotation as an out. We do have the Endurance back. Or attack and go to 21. Yeah, pretty sweet game. I mean, 16 turns of Magic. There's not too much to not enjoy about that. Yeah, I like the Exalted might matter with being able, if I really needed to take a hit. Sheltered there, doing the goods. Yeah, but props to them. Learning a new deck is not easy, especially a legacy deck and especially lands. So hopefully, play them again and they go on back on me. But yeah, I agree. I think going after just Saga value is really strong. Especially once they had the forest in play, being able to copy, do the stage trick is very hard to come back from. It'll be interesting to see what happens with Legacy over the next few months. Don't know if it'll change too much. I think it obviously there'll be some pretty significant changes, but just how much like blue-black changes will be really interesting. Sounds pretty nice. We have turn 1 bird, turn 2 knight, or turn 2 green suns for 2 for something like Collector Ouphe. Would like to find a fetch land of the once. I'm going to keep 7. I think as well, I'm pretty happy just to go for forest. Just to really get my mana down. My opponent is going to use removal on the bird. I think we're pretty happy anyway. And if they are like a Blood Moon deck, I don't want to get caught out by that. Wow, Chromox Ponder. Okay, well, we are definitely going to try to get one more turn and then try to Green Suns for Collector Ouphe. But this makes me think it's a really... They're like one card off going off. And that we probably won't get another turn here. Yeah, I was going to say Tess. Tess is the only deck that I can really think of with like Chrome Mox Ponder that's this aggressive. And a non-quick shuffle is always tough as well. It means they're really trying to plan out how they're going to win this game. Oh. Petal. Wow. Well then. Oops, Miss Trigger. I appreciate you. Thank you very much for stopping by. Hope you're doing well. Oof. They didn't even float, which is great. Okay. That's really good. I do like just reminding everyone that we do have some different force of will effects of our own. Black, green. All right. Tess is an interesting one. So I obviously love the Deafening Silences and the Thoughtseize. I don't mind the Force of Vigors and the Teague. I'm not too sure on the ley lines. I think leyline only stops potentially something like Echoing Truths. No, sorry. I think this is a case of if there's worse stuff to take out, then we get rid of it. Obviously, Swords and Grist, they're pretty easy. Scythecat Cubs, typically just we don't really get that grindy. Like Ooze, not really. This is 60, so Thalias and Bowmasters are fine. These are fine. I think just because Leyline does do probably more, it's a case of what does Leyline do more, like probably a Knight. Like it could just be the Endurances, and then we bring in the Leylines, and then call it a day. I don't mind this. What I really want is probably one of these 7 in my opening hand to buy me time to play one of my many 2-drops. Pretty great hand. Like Leyline stops are aggressive. Yeah, like having Leyline and Deafening Silence plus Green Suns is pretty amazing. Just multiple pieces of hate, which is exactly where we want to be. We don't want to be relying on one piece. So even if they have, say, Thoughtseize, we have Green Suns and Deafening Silence. Keep this, show this. Wow. Oh, sorry. I shouldn't have played the Savannah. That was just a little bit of a play before, I think. Play the Scrubland, because then we can play Deafening Silence now. Next turn, if we draw into Wasteland, we can Wasteland and Thoughtseize. Obviously, by playing the Savannah, we've just cut ourselves off being able to do that next turn, so... But at least we can still double spell next turn. Okay. Interesting. They got rid of a Dark Rit, so they're either already have too many ritual effects. I guess because of the Deafening Silence, that's a pretty easy reason why you would. So let's start with Thoughtseize. Do they have a bounce spell or like a abrupt decay? Okay, so they have a decay. That's pretty good. Now we need to use the Thoughtseize to buy ourselves time. So let's probably take the ritual here, because next turn we can go and get Ouphe. Play the Ignobled. We know about these 4. Brainstorm. Okay. Maybe Beseech could get there, especially with the double petals. Draw 3, put 2 back there. 5. It's like Polluted Delta, Petal, Dark Rit, Beseech. Guy's Wool Lines, very cool. Yeah, sorry, the only card that I was thinking of was the blue flashback echoing. How am I forgetting it? What is it called? It obviously works with LED. Echo of Eons, thank you. Yeah, like I don't think they play Rite of Flame anymore. I don't believe they play Cabal Ritual. So I think it's really between Guy's Will and yeah, that. Thoughtseize is pretty good. That'll buy them some time. But at least in this case, it only gets rid of the green suns. It doesn't get rid of the actual creature. So we'll make sure we're drawing into something live next turn. Put them in the graveyard. Attack Ignobled. There is a world where we just play the Sheltered to be able to get some life gain going. But I really like the ability to maybe get a creature into play that we care about and then put the Sheltered onto it. That's most likely going to mean end step we get Dryad Arbor and then probably Shelter. And then try to start building up Storm from there. But yeah, I wouldn't say Leyline of the Void is great against Tess, but I think it just does enough that it does a little bit more than cards that we already have in the main deck. Put a card on top. Okay. They do play Cabal. Okay. Well, that's good to know about. I wonder if they go for... Yeah, surely it's Beseech. Oh, Adnors. Okay. I don't know what the list is, but it's very cool and I really respect the basics. Oh, they hit Tendrils. Six. Oh, can we get there with Sheltered? If we draw into a Mana Dork, it definitely helps. If we get an Exalted creature here, we win. No, but that's still pretty good. That does take them off green. We gain 3, got a 20. Which obviously that extra 1 would have been kind of cool, but... Here we are. Tough spot for them for sure. Start with Brainstorm. Good luck, opponent. It is always very cool to see your opponent back against the wall, go off and get there. All right. Oh, they're going to tendrils just to stay alive. Huh. Okay. I think we're pretty happy about that. They lose the tendrils, especially to the ley line. Yeah, maybe they'll try to get there another way. Or have an additional copy of tendrils. They're also fetching now. Which means they're now open to Wasteland. Which is obviously a great thing. I love this island. This is the greatest artwork in Magic, in my opinion. When I was at GP Shizuoka in 2018, Mark Poole was there with a original print, and I asked him how much, and he said 4,000. And I was like, wow, 4,000 yen. That's actually like a really, really cool gift to get myself. And then he's like, sorry, 4,000 US. And I was like, you enjoy that. But to be fair, like, if there was one thing to buy, it would be pretty sweet to have. Yo, a huge thank you for the 2-month sub. Very much appreciate you. Let me know where you're from. If you play Legacy, if you have a local scene, what it's like. We have a 2-turn clock here, and we have all the mana in the world, so I'm going to keep these in hand as unknowns. I think that's probably just a little bit better. We have lethal in play as well. It doesn't look like they're a deck that plays empty. I think if they did, they would have kept the fetch land for potentially a red source for Burning Wish. From the north of the UK, local legacy FNM with 8 to 12 people, usually running Nadu breakfast tomorrow after a couple of weeks of attempting some night decks. Very cool. It's really always nice to hear that like there's a core group of legacy happening. We have around the same, typically. But it's just nice to know that if you rock up to Legacy, it's going to fire. That's always definitely becoming more of a luxury. They have 1 card left. And they pitched a tutor to the Chromox. Yeah, it's definitely changed, sadly, in Australia. But to be fair, Highlander has also got really popular, so you take what you can get. Not too sure what they can do here with 1 card. I wonder if they have an echo. No. Nice. Peer into the abyss. Nice. Matt, what are you playing right now? I know you switch it up and you play some pretty sweet decks and do very well with them. But say if Eternal Weekend was this weekend, what would you be taking? Do you know what's funny? I can even just picture myself tuning into your stream and hearing your voice say that. That's fair. Yeah, you've had some sweet decks recently. Punishing Waterfalls. Like whatever this, maybe this is a modern deck, but honestly it could be both. Yeah, this thing with the Overlords, Momentum Breaker. Always very cool to see someone playing new cards in Legacy and doing well, which is cool. But yeah, just it looks like a lot of value. Really? I guess this could potentially be what, a 1-mana 3/4 flyer? Or can it be free? How does affinity work if you have like a blue creature? I assume affinity is only you can tap 4 but then pay blue. You can't say tap a blue artifact to pay the blue? Doesn't. Okay. Yo. Nice. Keep doing what you're doing. I love to see it. A little bit of a tricky hand that it is a little bit slow, but I don't mind it. Pretty happy to see where it goes. We do have interaction in Wasteland and Endurance, which is nice. And some nice interactive pieces with Bowmaster and Sheltered. What is this? Potentially lands again? Okay. Not set up too well for lands, but we'll see how this plays out. Oh. Okay. I think here we just need to lead on the Wasteland, so they can't just drop Dark Depths and make the 2020. Don't you do it. Okay. That's actually not the worst. In all honesty. But do I want to Wasteland them? I don't think I do yet. I think we just want to play the Plains and pass. I mean, even a Loam is 4 mana. Ancient Tomb's pretty cool, but thankfully they would need 3 mana for crop rotation and then only have 1 left over. Dryad Arbor. I'm going to play out the Dryad Arbor. And then next turn we'll play the bird with Wasteland up. I could see that, I know. I was going to say I could see them copying the Wasteland or the Dryad Arbor. I think in this case, because the Wasteland's role, in my opinion, is to keep them off Dark Depths, I'm happy just to take them off the stage here. And then next time we just get to play Bayou, play the bird. So kind of nice to get rid of this, and also, you know, be able to play around crop rotation as well. Okay. That's fine. We're just going to keep making land drops here. They missed a land drop. Do we find one? Or we do. Wow. Let's get that bird down. Another sword? Okay. Okay. I think here it's just going to be the ooze. Really weird game. Oh my gosh. Don't you dare. I found a Basaju. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. This allows us to hold up the orc. This is actually... Alright, so we want to fetch, probably just for our basic. And then black, 1, 2, black, 1, 2, orc. Ping them. Library. Library's pretty sweet. Is it better than taking them off something? I think at this stage I do like just getting library into play. Come on, land. Okay. Pretty happy to... put back the grist. Land. Fetch. Savannah. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Knight. Crazy. They fetched a 5, so now we have lethal. They have 0 cards in hand. They have 1 card in hand. It's got to be a really good card. Like Glacial Chasm doesn't even do it. Wow. Okay, so Force of Vigors, Ley Lines. And then I like the 2 paths over the 2 swords. Pretty happy with that. Oh, no, stop, I'm 65. Oh no, quick. Oh gosh, that was so close. I like the Sheltereds. I mean, Thalia is pretty funny with the spheres. Probably not funny enough. I like that Sheltered by Ghosts is so flexible that, like, I don't mind going down on swords. pretty good hand. We have interaction in both of these. We have removal, we have mana acceleration, and a good threat. Kind of want to see a Lush here. Nice. Much better than seeing, say, a Savannah for crop rotation or swords. Pretty happy to go for Savannah here. Or if they remove the Cub, just go for Lush. Okay. Okay. Thankfully, we haven't had a Green Sun start. No attacks. Interesting. I think here we just want to play the Wasteland. Trigger Cub. Then we have some options. So I could play Knight, hold up Path. I could play Knight, hold up Wasteland. Definitely attacking. And then I think it's going to be Knight, hold up Wasteland. Endurance would be kind of interesting. It's like a double block. Okay. Happy just to get rid of the Containment Priest. Giving them a land is something. What Knight doesn't play around is land, as in Dark Depths, and then Lava Spur Boots, which I believe is one to play, one to equip. But I think it's just too niche that I'm happy just to play the Knight. And if they have Dark Depths plus Boots, they got Dark Depths plus Boots. Okay. Well, they could still have Dark Depths plus Boots. Don't you do it. Don't you do it. Talked about this. We talked about this. Tough. I still think like I'm happy to lose to that because untapping with the Knight there is just so good that yeah. Knowing about the endurances, etc., I could see these coming back. I like the forces and the ley lines. Could be a shelter. I don't mind that. That's crazy. That was crazy. Opponent is in their trophy game. So this third game should be a pretty big doozy. So funny, because when I saw the port, I was like, oh, cool. Dark Depths is not their land for turn. But of course, crop rotation changes that very quickly. All right. We're on the play. And it really relies on the once. Chat, what do you think? We got time. What do you think about this? Once upon a time, find a fetch land is the best outcome. If the once was a fetch land, would I keep this? And the question isn't a straight yes. No gamble, no future. Are you saying that I need to gamble to have a future? Was that a threat? What? Has a little bit of everything, doesn't it? The issue is that turn 2, it's just Cub. I do turn off Loam though, so I think I'm okay with keeping this. But I will say it's tricky. We don't find a land. That's tough. That is tough. In that case, it's probably the Ouphe is just another creature. I will play the Wasteland. But that's definitely, I think, just game. I don't think there's too many ways around it, especially if we don't find a land here. Yeah. At least they have a semi-slow start. Okay. I'll see how we draw. And then if we don't draw a land here, well, we're definitely using one on their turn to play around crop rotation to at least use the forest. Oh. No crop. Interesting. There was a world where I wanted to hit that with the trigger in the stack to be able to tap, but I really want to make sure we can play something. Okay. Let's go for Savannah. And I think here's just Ouphe. Like, turning off Mox is quite nice. The Cub's okay, but... Ooh. Well, that's actually quite nice for us. Let's go, I think here I just want to go for the Lush and make sure we're drawing into maybe a fetch land. A Swords we don't want. Okay. I mean, library's pretty nice. So we have options. We have Wasteland the Saga. They make a token. We then shelter. I also don't mind just play the library out. And then if they make a token, then Wasteland the Saga. We get a free... We don't really get a free hit because of endurance. But yeah, there's a pretty risky attack, to be fair. Make a token. In response, we'll just get rid of this now. And then hope this library sticks. Loam Saga. Don't really mind that. Ooh, nice. Okay. I think we want to go Cub, Wasteland, or do we want to go Cub, Noble? I think we just want to take them off the Saga, but we don't know about a potential crop rotation. I think we're happy to play Cub, Wasteland trigger on the Ouphe. And then in their upkeep, Wasteland. We've used 3 of our 4 Wastelands. Ooh, Blast Zone for 2 is going to be pretty good. Okay. Put on top. Land. Trigger. Attack with both here, and then play the Knight next turn. Interesting they block here because this has Trample. Maybe a little bit of an error of them just not playing against this card too much and not thinking that it's 2 3/3s. Okay. So one thing there is that I didn't play around them just not having double crop rotation into Stage Depth's attack because of just what they've kind of given away by not using crop on the Sagas. I think the Sagas are just so good that it'll be hard not to keep them around. Do they have the land though for Blast Zone? Crazy how we've come back into this. I mean, from a Wasteland start, Mistland drop, Wasteland. Honestly, I would say the big turning point was the land of Boseiju. That was really nice. Yeah, that's true. I think just, yeah, making sure I get another threat into play even if they have 2. Okay. So they're going to crack this now. That's fine. Oh, we're so close. Like Sheltered is 1, Noble is 1. Puts them to 2. I think here we do have Cradle. Yeah, so I think here I like actually just going for Noble, Cradle, Green Suns for Ooze, Eat the Loam. I don't think putting them to 2 means too much, but taking them off this loam is quite nice. Now we have a good mix of threats. We know there are Swords to Plowshares decks, so like putting them to 2 and then them swordsing the Knight would be pretty brutal. I think we should be good either way. But we'll definitely have to see. This could just be crop for a white source to swords. Okay. Funnily enough, double shelter. Oh, and they have a loam. Okay. Scrubland. They're at 10. Eat the loam. Eat the cub. Eat the Ouphe. Attack. Hold up sword or eat. Yeah, Shelter's been really nice. Obviously, it does have the downside that you do need a creature into play, but I do like that Maverick typically does have a creature into play, and it also just makes your non-threats into threats, which is nice. Like, it might make your opponent swords a Noble Hierarch or another creature that it doesn't actually really care about. I don't think it really matters what we hit. But funnily enough, if they do port us and think that they can maze and also 2 mana. Wow, I think Outland Liberator does it here because we get to take them off the Saga, which is a mana. No, nearly though. Yeah, nearly. No, it is. Wow. It is. It's Ward 2. Oh, wow. But they have a sword. Oh, and I should have eaten. That's my bad. That's on me. All right. Windswept isn't nothing. Pretty happy to path this just to keep them down. Might actually be sword. There's probably, yeah, it's probably the smallest thing that I will sword other than a 1/1 construct. Maybe I counted my chickens a little bit too early, but this has been a pretty amazing game. Okay. Don't want to fetch just yet. Nice. Land. I do have options here, so I do have either get Knight, but obviously they have Maze, or I could get Renegade Rallier and get back Wasteland to hit the Maze. Quick think. We also have a second Cub, I believe. There's one Cub there, which means I probably should have obviously kept the land in hand. Sideboard, no Cubs. Okay, so there is a Cub. They also have the Blast Zone. They have 3 cards. Interesting. I will... I didn't even need to fetch. That will come up, most likely. Probably just get a forest. Could go for Grist. Like Grist go wide. They can tick this up once here. What are my lands? I have 1 Wasteland and a Karakas left. So I only have a Bayou and Plains left. I think it's just the Cub. Because at least Cub makes the Noble bigger as well. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's actually the better line. Getting the The Renegade Rallier for Library would have been pretty sweet. Okay. Happy to pay for both of these. Yeah, that's where Renegade Rallier is really good, because Rallier into Library means you have a 1, 2, and 3 in play, which is pretty sweet. They could pressure the Verdant there. Obviously quite aggressive. Now they're going to pop. Okay. Pop for 2. I believe it was 2. So let's crack this now to get some value. Ooh. Well, now we can try our luck at Renegade Rallier again. Hey, Saito Sand, very cool to see you. Hope you're doing well. Rallier, and because that thing left play, we can get Library here. Nice. Okay, that's pretty cool. But yeah, Saito Sand, you are a big inspiration for this list. We're doing pretty well, and honestly, Sheltered by Ghosts has probably been MVP in most of the matchups so far. Hardcast Force of Vigor. Okay. That is fine. At least now we get to start chipping in. This has been a great game, honestly. So enjoyable. Wow, another Green Suns. I think we just attack with both. And then probably just Green Suns for night to get the last Wasteland next turn. Swords, okay. Nice. Lush. What do they put in the bin? Wooded Foothills. They have 2 cards left. We have the Path in case they have a blocker. We will pay for both of these. We have a 5-turn clock currently. Oh my gosh. I almost want to endurance myself. I almost want to endurance myself. But I think it is just the last night. Hey, High Star, welcome. Fuller, hope you're well. Oh, Needle, okay. Probably on Wasteland to take out the last maze, potentially. Knight. Makes sense. All right. Yes. 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 Okay. Start by attacking with everything. It means Dryad Arbor is also online here. Ooh. Yeah, pretty insane seeing our start was Wasteland and once upon a time hit no land, play Wasteland, untap, miss land drop, untap. Wow. Let's go. But maybe for us. Wow. That was really tough because honestly, mentally, with that opening hand, once the once didn't find a land, I thought it was over. I was like, well, I'll play on because, like, if I concede, it's 100% a concession. If I don't concede, it's a 0.0 whatever loss. So, yeah, very happy we played that out. Can't take it too seriously. Wow. Insane. Opponent pretty unfortunate in that last game, especially to not find like a decent threat or like a saga with exploration early on. Killabee, typically combo. Pretty happy to mulligan this, just obviously the mana just isn't really here. Mana is here, which is nice. Pretty happy to keep and bottom the Savannah. Alright. I know Killabee is quite known for like artifact style combo decks. Hey. And here we are. So definitely a really challenging matchup game one. Just a little bit too quick. They see the Bowmaster. And I assume they're going to be an Echo deck. They play Gardens. Copy the LED. Gamble. Okay. I think we know where this is going. Okay. It's funny because, like, obviously we do have Collector Ouphe, but it's just a little far away here. But hey, maybe our opponent thinks... They probably think we're a Maverick, but seeing the Bowmaster, seeing this, maybe like an off-brand Cradle control list. But at least post-board we have some really nice cards. Leyline of the Void, Deafening Silence, Thoughtseize, Force of Vigor. Saga is pretty sweet because it's just a kind of fairish way to win as well. Echo. Okay, we still have Green Sun, so if they don't find something here, I assume they do, but if they didn't, then we would have something to do. This is pretty interesting. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you may discard a card if you do draw a card. Non-creature spells cost 1 less. If a source you control would deal non-combat damage to an opponent or opponent and an opponent controls, it deals that much damage plus 2. Wow. There's another Echo. Pier's Revolution. Come on, Green Suns. I want to see ya. We don't see Green Suns. But I would say we won't have a turn. This is pretty sweet. Whenever a non-token artifact is put into your graveyard from the battlefield, return that card to your hand unless target opponent has this enchantment deal 3 damage to them. Pretty happy to take it at this point. Always innovation. Interesting. So whenever an artifact you control enters, you may return this card from your graveyard to your hand. But then this says whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you may discard a card if you do draw a card. So you discard the Daredevil, you draw a card, and then if you play an artifact that goes to the bin, then Overland goes back to hand. Bada bing, bada boom. I would say for this matchup, I am mulliganing aggressively towards either Deafening Silence or Leyline. I don't believe Thoughtseize by itself is good enough. Potentially Thoughtseize into Collector Ouphe, but that's literally Thoughtseize into Collector Ouphe. I did also think of Chalice in the sideboard, mainly for Chalice for 0. Which would of course be great against this deck because it's another turn 1 play. Is Storm count 20? I wonder if it's Grape Shot. Ooh, Spellbomb might actually finish me off. Yeah, because obviously I can't, if I pay 3 damage for it not to go to the back to the hand, then I take 5. So that is very cool. Alright. Deafening Silence, Swords out, Grist out, Leylines in, Thoughtseize in, Force in, Teague in. I think Teague's there. Yeah, I think Teague is good enough. Sheltered isn't too bad, a little bit slow. Endurance doesn't really do a whole lot because of Echo, so I think I'd rather just have the Leylines. Library too slow. I don't mind having 1 Cub. Maybe not. I think Cub is just a little bit too... Yeah. A little bit too cute for this. Wow, okay. Leyline and Deafening Silence and Force of Vigor plus Mana Acceleration. Pretty happy to keep this. Happy to get Wasteland and then Savannah into Deafening Silence. Hi, I'm on Maverick and I just cast 3 spells in 1 turn. Maybe not cast, but you get the gist. That was a pretty sweet turn. If they play a Saga, they don't play a Saga. Okay. Yeah, I think just because I don't have Force of Vigor as an answer to Saga yet, I'm not going to use the Wasteland on anything here. But obviously this is nice, but I do need pressure to be able to close out this game before they find answers and then go off. A 1-mana creature would be great. We don't find that. Hey Charlie, a huge thank you for the raid. Let me know what you just played and how you went. To those of you coming in from Charlie's stream, I'm doing this on Twitch. I play Legacy Maverick, which is a pretty fair deck within Legacy, typically creature based. If I can find a creature here that's either 1 mana or 2 mana, I'd be very happy. And we actually do. We actually find Dryad Arbor, which allows us to then Sheltered by Ghosts and take out the Talon Gates. So that's pretty sweet. Okay. You played some modern 4-color Witness. Very cool. 4-color Witness, I assume, is Eternal Witness or Timeless Witness? Okay, Thalia is pretty sweet here. Let's start with attacking. And then I could take them off mana here. Or just play out the Thalia. I think I'm pretty happy just to play out the Thalia and just hold the Wasteland again for Saga. But if this taps for 2, 3, 4, 5, then we kind of have an answer for Saga anyway. I'm taking them off blue just because of a bounce effect. This is all fine. Land, fetch, Bayou, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I'm pretty happy to take out these two. There is a world where another Saga gets pretty tricky, and maybe I should have kept the Wasteland for that, but really just wanted to build on the ongoing pressure of Thalia. And obviously Thalia is better if they have less mana in play. Play Beseiju. Huh. We can cast it. Okay. I will play the Windswept just because of Lush Portico, just in case we need to look for something. But yeah, sometimes you just like need everything. Obviously on the draw is pretty tough, so we will need those ley lines again, deafening silences. I don't think we really changed anything based on what we saw. Potentially the extra sheltered, as they did go pretty heavy on those enchantments. It could just be the ooze. Actually, I'm going to drop a knight, keep the ooze, just because knight's a little bit... Maybe, yeah, maybe knight can even just be a one of, and the cub is actually worth just having a way to build pressure even if we start drawing lands. But it's tough because you would never green suns for it based on this. This is a pretty big moment because Teague is just in case they're playing Tendrils. Oh, they are playing Echo, but we do of course have Leyline. This is a really tough one because if we get a turn, we're probably in a really good spot. We get to go Deafening Silence into Thoughtseize into Green Suns for Collector Ouphe. But if we don't get a turn, you know what happens. Opponent's kept 7. Which makes me think we need to mulligan towards Leyline just because of Echo being mostly the way or the reason you would keep a 7. Yeah, so it's between being okay with losing turn 1 or trying to mulligan for Leyline. The one thing this hand actually isn't great against either is a Urza's Saga start. Because we have no Wasteland. We have no Once Upon a Time to find Wasteland. It does have 2 pieces of interaction and a nice like plan, but yeah. Really tough. I think just because I'm mulligan it so much, I do want to mulligan. But there's definitely a plan, like turn 1 Deafening Silence, turn 2 Thoughtseize, turn 3 Green Suns. But that doesn't beat a turn 1 win, which, you know, if they've kept 7, it's probably pretty likely. And it doesn't beat a Saga plan. So I think we will mull. Sadly, that's worse. As a 5, now we're pretty much in the same spot as, like, if we go to 4, we're finding Leyline, land, creature. I think we might have to just cut ourselves short. We're definitely keeping Deafening Silence and land. I would say we're definitely keeping these 4. A turn 1 play and a turn 2 play. The question is, past that, what do we care about? It might be this. Okay. The Teague. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, very similar to the first hand, so we can't be too unhappy. But to be fair, neither hand with 7 or hand with 5 had a great answer to Saga, so we can't do too much. I don't even know if they're an Ancient Tomb deck. At least they won't get a token, which is nice, but I assume here they might get Spellbomb and take out Thalia. T could also be pretty bad for us. It stops Green Suns, it stops Force of Vigor, it stops Hardcast Leyline. Interesting. Okay. No land. Lands off the top aren't great for us, but that is obviously part of Mav. So you got to get used to it if you're going to play. We will be going for Lush Portico here if we get a turn, because we really want to have control over what we draw. Exactly. Welcome to the Maverick experience. The lows of not drawing or not having too much control over what you draw are far outweighed by the highs of playing a creature-based deck in Legacy and actually caring about combat damage. This might be a Sage on the Deafening Silence. Ooh, okay. Way down. All right, let's have a look. Oh, I'll keep that. That's not too bad. We'll attack first. Play a land, which will go and get a Dryad Arbor. Okay. So we're not taking the Echo. It might be I think it's the gamble. Chat, if you have any thoughts, let me know. Like they're currently at 2 mana. We're not taking the Echo. I think just because gamble turned, I guess they can't cast the Echo anyway. So maybe gamble we don't care about too much. But maybe yeah, I think we do care about the gamble. Yeah. Because they could potentially find an answer to Teague to then turn on the Echo. They might even miss a land drop here, which would stop the Pier's Revolution, but they can still Rite of Flame into Pier if they want. Oh, they drew the gamble. Rite of Flame. So they keep what they got. Honestly, Shelter would be kind of cool here. Wasteland's pretty good as well, let's be honest. Bobble. Ooh. Tap like this. They're at 15, so I do want to attack with both to keep it as a 5-turn clock. Quick look at our... I could fetch first, but if I see like another Deafening Silence or like a Thoughtseize, I do want to like fetch them back in, I think. There's not too much because of how much has been taken out. I think that I'm happy to be able to fetch after to make sure that anything I see we can draw into again. I think it's like this. Once. Try to find a bear. Outland Liberator isn't too bad. Play a land. Fetch. Forest. That might even make me... The question is, how important is it to hold up the Liberator? Or is it a case of just being able to hit the pedal now? I don't mind hitting the pedal now. Flipping does seem good as well. But what are the chances of a flip? I think we'll see how we go. Attack with the Teague. And I think that maybe I need the flip to be able to really get there. Yeah, I just don't think that 3 damage a turn is a good enough a clock. So what's that? 5 turns. Yeah. Okay. Another turn. Ooh. It's kind of nice. Attack with Haul. Play the Wasteland. I really think here we take out the pedal. I really think here we take out the pedal. Three, four, five, six. It does change the clock. But I think I just feel like that 1 mana is just so much for them. I'm just gonna go with my gut. I just think that 1 mana is just so much for them. Even if they play a Saga, we can Wasteland it in response to it being able to tap for mana. Ooh. Haywire Might. With 1 mana? Okay. Bubble's fine. Wow. We definitely attack with both. They gain 2 here. Gain 2, take 2. We take them off this. Play another one. So yeah, like if we didn't take them off that pedal there, they would have been able to play the Piers Revolution. Huge. They have 6 cards. We know about these 3. Pass. Oh, sadly, we can't Green Suns because of Teague. So hopefully Teague is doing a lot here. Yes. Wow. 4-0. There we go. Sorry, team, 1 sec. I'm just going to the bathroom real quick. If you're not following the channel, definitely consider following the channel. You can of course also find me on YouTube and Twitter. I'll be back in 2 moments. All right, team, let us see if we can finish this out. The deck's been sweet. Honestly, the MVP has been Sheltered by Ghosts. The card has been really, really strong. If I knew it was going to be double lands, I think we would play Ramanap, but I feel like Renegade Rallier also got some pretty nice value in the matchup, so can't be too unhappy. And hey, a huge thank you to all of you for coming in and watching, especially those still watching on YouTube. Very much appreciate you. But yeah, Killabee is pretty fantastic when it comes to combo decks and creating new innovative lists. I don't even know what to call it. Killabee combo. Mana's been pretty good to us as well, outside of that one match. Triac. All right. All right. Pretty interesting hand. I'm not too sure what my opponent is on. Yeah, really interesting hand for sure. Like, even with the Cub, like, turn on Dryad Arbor into Cubs is pretty sweet. Look, I think being a trophy match, I would mulligan towards something with a little bit more of a plan that, you know, if they are in a basic heavy deck, then obviously this is pretty terrible, but I also kind of just want to see how it plays out. Like, we have our mana, we have some obviously nice interaction. See how good the Cub is. You know what, Saito, you probably jokingly said keep, but let's see how it goes. I'm all for it. Okay. I hope that they are ready for Wastelands. I feel like Thoughtseize Underground Sea makes me think of Doomsday, but potentially it could be some sort of blue-black combo. Happy to semi-reset the game. And now we do have a plan. We have turn 1 Green Suns, or turn 2 Green Suns for Dryad Arbor into Knight of the Reliquary. Oh my gosh. Wow, okay. Maybe, just maybe, this hand works out. At least if they force... Okay, so they're playing Brazen Borrower. So I'm going to assume this is some sort of blue-black tempo-ish deck. Okay. I think here... I'm still happy to play the Wasteland and Green Suns for Ignoble Hierarch. A Borrower into the bin. So they're really digging here for most likely more lands. Which, I mean, if we can draw a 2-drop and we get to double Wasteland them, that would be pretty phenomenal. Oh, Ancient Tomb. I did not expect that. Barrow Goyf. Okay. Bowmasters. Interesting. I do like that Bowmaster buys time against Barrow. They have 2 cards left. I think in that case I'm happy to take them off the sewers. Yeah, I think double waste as well. And probably just Bowmaster here. I don't want to throw myself into like a daze. Block once. That's a Green Suns for Grist, which is quite cool. I think I allow this one hit. Maybe not. Maybe actually we do just block. Honestly, I could also trade with the knight, and then we have Green Suns. No, I think the knight getting Wasteland is just a little bit too good. Yeah, I think the plan here is we block the Barrogoyf, we then untap, we get Grist, we trade the Grist, we trade the Ignoble Hierarch away for the Barrogoyf, and then we Wasteland them as well. Of course, of course, a Goyf in chat is telling me to allow the Goyf to hit, but I just don't think we can allow them. Oh, you may put a creature card from among them. Ah, I thought they could get anything. Okay, I'm actually more happy to do this. I thought it was get back anything you mill. I didn't want to allow them to get lands from it, that's why. They didn't hit, no. Okay, so we can play the plains now. Get the Grist. Get rid of this. Get rid of this. Sack this. Get this. Get rid of this. Okay. Nice. All right. So, a blue deck with Barrogoyf. Barrogoyf is pretty scary. It kind of makes me want to move towards Path to Exile, kind of like how you do against Delver with Murktide. I think Ouphe is an easy cut. Dismember is interesting as well because it should deal with Barrogoyf, but it also deals with potentially Tamiyo without giving them a land, which is nice. Maybe with the Sheltered by Ghosts, I don't need to think too much about that. Leylines are interesting, but Leyline does not stop Barrogoyf's ability. I think we're just going to send back a pretty similar list, to be honest, with an extra Path. Like, it's really between Path and Dismember. But I think Path is fine. I mean, their mana is a little bit sketchy. Maybe I do just want to go for Dismember. Yeah, I don't really want to be giving them mana. Okay. Pretty happy with this. Especially with the curve. I will once here just because of mana acceleration. Okay. Well, that makes things pretty easy as well. I really hope it's a tapped land here. Okay. I was kind of worried of Entomb into Exhume, or Entomb into Reanimate. Okay. I'm not going to fetch here. I'm going to untap and draw. and play Scrubland and then fetch, just because of Opposition Agent. I don't think they would have it. Like, I don't know if they're like a Dark Ritual deck potentially, but here we're pretty happy to go probably Plains, just in case they're playing Harbinger. Like, they have gone for basics early. I think just in case we get Plains. But I messed up. Now I'm kind of forced into playing Thalia, but I wanted to play the Cub because of Orcish Bowmasters. But we can't really play around that, sadly. Yeah, I should have really thought about that with my sequencing. It could even be the tempo play by them of just holding up Brazen Borrower Bounce, but of course they can't do that with Thalia in play. Okay. Well, not too unhappy about that. I mean, not the greatest brainstorm. They still have to draw a card off the top. But I wonder what else they're playing with Ancient Tomb. Obviously, it's Barrogoyf. It's Brazen Borrower. Stock Up. Okay. I mean, Stock Up for 4 mana is pretty good in my... I'm pretty happy to see that in my books. This also means next turn everything is uncounterable. Yeah, Cardo would be pretty sweet. Land, okay. We're just going to play out Knight here and attack for 2. Yeah, that's true. They probably maybe don't play Harbinger because of the Ancient Tomb. Show and Tell. Oh, Sheltered by Ghosts? Oh my gosh. I really hope this works out the way we do want it to work out. Wow. Just maybe. Just maybe. Wow. Oh my gosh. Can we get there with Cub now? No, I clicked wrong. I clicked wrong. Tough. No. No. Hopefully that doesn't matter. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't think I need to... I think I can hold up the sword here if I need to. 6. Damn, I saw the little 2 for ward and I was like, oh, counters, but obviously not. Tough. I guess we can hope they have nothing else. Okay. We keep a big threat. Tough. Okay, so it's going to be a Thoughtseize deck for sure. Dismember can come out. Probably some number of Endurance. Maybe I don't think the Force of Vigors. Deafening Silence is pretty interesting. Maybe just to slow them down a little bit. Yeah. Maybe just on the play. Ooze. Cub. See how this goes. Show and Tell would be a nice one to come up against, but this is probably just a little bit too fair. Like, turn on Dryad Arbor, and that's about it. Yeah. Okay, this is better. Keep this bottom the plains. Go turn 1, Ignobled, and then turn 2, we could Bowmaster and Shelter if we really wanted to. Keep this bottom the plains. Okay. I mean, Knight's pretty good. Force Pitch, Brazen Burrower. Oof. just gonna play one now. Maybe it adds up. I think in response, I'm happy to cast the other one. Whew. All right, deck. Here we go. Not what I want. Let's draw a card. Oh, I think I want that. Do I want to play the Noble? I think I'd rather have an unknown card. I mean, Green Suns is Grist. Green Suns off the top is Grist to get rid of a blocker if needed. No. Ooh. Tough. So close. I think getting the pressure in was nice because yeah, I should have kept the Bowmasters. Yeah, of course I should have kept the Bowmasters. That's, yep. Yeah, stupid. Yeah, that was me just thinking that it didn't actually apply. Yeah, oh my gosh, yeah. I just didn't even think. No. Oh, yeah. Bummer. Bummer. A really good learning point. A really good learning point. Ah. Borrower. Yeah, they had the borrower before. Tough. Really tough. At least, yeah, I know that they had the borrower to get rid of, I guess, maybe like one brazen, but tough. Deck was sweet otherwise. I think that like Show and Tell is obviously a pretty challenging matchup to begin with. And when it has creatures in it as well that you have to deal with, and yeah, it's even more brutal because you can't just go all in on like shutting down Show and Tell. So, but otherwise the deck was sweet. I was really, really happy with it. Yeah. But just, yeah. Small things. Yeah, the deck was cool. Sheltered by Ghosts was awesome. Like I felt like 3 was pretty nice. Like I didn't really draw too many at times, and when I drew them, I usually had a creature in play. Renegade Rallier was fine, but if I knew what I was coming up against, I would have done. I would have obviously played Rallier against the lands decks, but yeah, Cyborg was pretty nice as well. Not too sure what to do against the blue-black deck, but I'm sure if I play against it more, we'll figure out a bit of a sideboard plan for it. I'm going to see who else is streaming and send you over there. But looks like True Hero, Raphael. Damn. I'll send you all over to True Hero. Ah, that's why. But yeah, Hughes, thank you once again. I'll be back on the weekend, most likely. But until then, take care, and hopefully we can trophy sometime soon.